All right, guys. So obviously, right now, what's going on in the world is the coronavirus. COVID-19 is affecting everything to the point where right now we are recording from home.
Yeah.
So our biggest discussion, though, right now is what happens to E3 because E3 is taking a hit and they've had to cancel the event, just like every other event right now in the world. But what we've seen over in the past few years, we've seen the decline of E3 hitting as well. So now moving forward, because of COVID-19 and the fact that they've had to actually cancel the entire event, what does this mean for the future of E3?
Well, it's you got to think about it, right? Everything that's going on right now, it was bound to happen that E3 was going to get canceled. Every event its size, anything close to its size is being shut down. Everything's getting shut down right now. But everybody's now moving to an online platform to release their information. So, nobody's really going to miss out on anything other than the physical presence of being there at the event. But at the same time, maybe this having all these companies and developers move in, do these online events and releases and things like that may, kind of lead into something, more progressive as the years go on. E3 becomes even less of a factor because now there's just more ways to get that information out to people.
It seems like it was gonna do that anyways. Yeah, like the
Yeah.
trend was that
Yeah.
E3 was kind of falling apart and it was gonna be separate and online.
Yeah.
Now I think there's like almost like a new unity in the sense that all of them now have to go to an online platform.
Yeah,
At least
sure.
where they're all on the same even playing field again. And
But
that's something to
the
say.
biggest thing for this then in that case, right, is you lose the opportunity then to network. So if you were in the industry from a press media side to a small indie developer, you rely on meeting the right people, getting the contacts, and then building your game, your brand, your business with that event in mind. Now you take that event away, then what happens to the little guys? What happens to the indies who are trying to launch the next journey, the next little indie title that could take the world by storm, but without an event like this for them to network, they don't have that opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
well,
tough.
It is tough, man. I don't know. I think Xbox they've kind of like last year they took the reins on E3, and I think obviously this is going to hurt them a bit. But moving forward, I know that I think with the Series X they're really going to focus on the indie, and I don't think E3 is going to go anywhere. Honestly, it might not be as big as it used to be because so many things and so many people are backing down.
Yeah.
But I really think Xbox will kind of do their iteration of it moving forward.
It'll be interesting to see what happens moving. Well, this year, already before the event even went, Sony was already out of the event, right? Sony wasn't
Yeah.
even going to be there. Sony wasn't
Like
there at all.
early, yeah.
Exactly. Sony had no intentions of being there because they want to hold the message and then be able to kind of showcase what they want to their audience and not have
The
to worry
way they
about
want.
exactly, right? Everybody else. So that way they're able to do this to their own liking. And Xbox is doing the same. They're at E3. They have a presence there, but they're not actually a part of E3, right? They're out across the street in their own convention.
Doing
So-
their own thing.
Exactly.
That's so weird to me still.
Well, it kind of is, but
Yeah.
that's how they're still kind of portraying and holding their message is by holding it across the road, right? It takes a lot of money to put together to host E3, to build E3. We saw Jeff Keighley this year bail out of E3. Whether
Yeah.
or not that had anything to do with the COVID-19, I think it was a little too early at that point. This is just kind of all recent. But the way he said that the direction of E3 was heading, he wasn't liking it at all. So then they brought in other sponsors and other things, and then they were falling off as well. So this year, as a whole, part of me wonders that canceling E3 might have been the saving grace because it sounded more of a disaster than an actual well put together show that was going to turn around. Like, don't get me wrong, every year at E3, it's like Christmas for us. I look
Yeah.
forward to seeing E3 every year. I want to see what the next big title is. I want to see who's pushing what, and especially this year too. Of all years for this to happen, Xbox, Sony, bringing out the next console. I
Next
wanted
gens.
to see this. Exactly,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's huge, right? What a big year. We've talked about 2020 since last year, and now all these 2020 events are getting canceled. And it's like, you know, the exposure's there. We're learning things. You know, we learned about PlayStation 5, and, you know, we see what Xbox has got going on now, too. But again, it's just not being able to have that community, like you said, Drew, to showcase certain things that maybe if you weren't at the event, you'd never know about, right? Because, I mean, as we know, there's lots of games out there, and we try to get as many as we can, but we miss a ton of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you lose events like this, even if they just go online solely, yeah, you're gonna lose a lot of that structure, and you know, you'll lose a lot of that volume when it comes to what you're taking in and what you're seeing when it comes to being at events like that.
Well, and a lot of the fun too, because as we've come to find out, those events, the live things, the expos, the
Yeah, they're
on the
great.
ground kind of thing, like that's the most fun to partake in. And
Oh, for sure.
you know, I don't want to see that disappear entirely, but
No,
it's a weird time we live in now.
no,
Well,
for sure.
Yeah.
We looked at, so for instance, like this year we went to EGLX, right? If we wouldn't have gone there, would we have played Skyweaver? Would we have played Clan O'Connell? Probably not.
Foregone.
Foregone, right? One
Yeah,
of
I know.
our
It's all those
smash
great
hits.
games.
Exactly. So the guys at that scale, that is basically an indie developer on the rise, doesn't have the opportunity then to get their game out there and showcase it. So hopefully, on our side, we can try to contact as many of these people that are going to be missing out on E3, and maybe we can help them and promote them on our show the best we can. But at the same time, they don't have the networking with the bigger developers, like talking to Xbox and all these. It's like the
Yeah.
opportunity there is just such a huge loss, and a lot of people that watch E3 don't quite see that aspect of E3, right? They don't understand that the indies are relying on something like this. This is what their whole bread and butter is based off of, is trying to get into E3 and trying to get into PAX and trying to get into these events where they're able to communicate to other people, communicate to us because we're there covering the event, and then all of a sudden, if we're not there, we don't know about their title, and maybe they don't know
No.
about us. So if we're able to kind of meet up that way, then that's a huge get for both of us. Because man, I play Skyweaver all the time, but if we wouldn't have seen them at EGLX, I wouldn't have met
Never
Mike
known
and
about
all
that
those
game.
guys, right? So we wouldn't have been playing the game. We wouldn't have been playing Foregone. So you know, games we're playing this year is because of events like that, and without events like that, we're not playing those games, and that to me is disheartening, and honestly I don't like it. We need to have E3, but what are
Yeah.
they going to do to be able to save E3? Because I feel E3 is in trouble.
It really is. They better not just go this digital route that we've been, you know, seeing more and more lately. I just, like you guys said, the hands-on experience, there's just nothing next to it.
Nah,
so.
you can't beat it.
Yeah.
No, hopefully in the future, once we get past all this outbreak, that we'll see maybe a resurgence in enthusiasm around kind of events like that, as people kind of creep out of the cave again.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah,
definitely going to be
hopefully.
a slow return to events like that, right? I mean, you know, they push off this year's event, and coming into next year, who knows? By this time next year, things could be totally clear and everything will be fine. But there is that chance that, you know, there are these lingering effects, and these events will still suffer because people don't want to be in large crowds still. I mean, things are day to day here, so I mean, we talk
Yeah.
a year ahead. It's, you know, there's so many different things can happen, but at the same time, they're all variables, right? So with events like E3 that are struggling, you know, to capture that audience like it used to, you know, these are all factors that play into it really struggling. So they're going to have to do something pretty impressive next year, I think, for it to really, you know, take off again.
Yeah, absolutely. And for everybody here at Inside the Game, hit us up, InsideTheGame.ca, and let us know what you think. What does the future of E3 look like to you?